Call the planning commission meeting to order for, 19th today? Yep. 1924. Start with roll call, please.
Mr. Cox,
Here.
Mr. Crumpton,
Here.
Mr. Kella,
Here.
Mr. Orlando,
Here.
Mr. Perez, Ms. Radakovich,
Here.
Ms. Rohr,
Here.
Mr. Rusinellos, Chairman Dillon.
Here. Next, do I have a motion for the minutes? Move to approve.
I'll second it.
Any questions I should ask that? Seeing none, okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Crumpton,
Aye.
Mr. Kella,
Aye.
Mr. Orlando,
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich,
Aye.
Ms. Rohr,
Aye.
Mr. Cox,
Aye.
Chairman Dillon.
Aye. What do you got, Jim?
Next would be citizens to be heard on agenda items. Anybody that would like to speak on an agenda item now can do so, but also know that we'll let you speak when the application is called. Is there anybody that wants to speak on an agenda item now? Seeing none, old business public hearing. We have none, old business. We have none, new business public hearing. We have just one application, P524. Preliminary plat of Laraway ANR Pipeline, TC Energy subdivision. Under general information, the applicant Andrew D. Black is the representative for ANR Pipeline, TC Energy. The status of the applicant, they are the developer. Requested action is approval of a preliminary plat of subdivision. Purpose is to create a two-lot subdivision for a future gas compressor facility. Existing zoning is R-1B, single-family residential. The location is 4101 South Cherry Hill Road. Size is approximately 79 acres. Existing land use is undeveloped. Under surrounding land use and zoning, to the north is agricultural, R1B, single-family residential. To the south is agricultural, R1B. To the east is agricultural, county A1 ag. To the west is agricultural, county A1. Under site history, the subject property is located at 4101 South Cherry Hill Road. The property was originally annexed into the city 2006 at the request of the property owners, who intended to develop the property as a future single-family residential subdivision. Property has remained undeveloped agricultural land since its annexation. The requested preliminary plat would create two lots in the existing 79-acre parcel, with future development of a gas compressor facility on the smaller 20-acre lot 2. Under special information, the proposed gas compressor facility would be utilized to assist in the transportation of natural gas through an existing pipeline system that crosses the northern portion of the subject property. Facility is a necessary piece of equipment to ensure the continued operation of pipelines and the supply of natural gas to the public. The developer, TC Energy, has stated that the proposed facility is part of a scope to be able to supply an increased volume of natural gas due to increased demand as power plants are converted from coal to natural gas. The underlying zoning designation for the subject property is R1B, single-family residential. However, the proposed gas compressor facility use is classified as an essential service and is allowed in any district insofar as it is permitted, authorized, or regulated by law or other ordinance. Facility would consist of a main building where the gas compressor would take place, in addition to a few small accessory buildings for storage and potentially another building for staff operations. All compression would take place within the main compression building. However, certain above-ground piping and equipment adjacent to the main building would be necessary. Buildings within the site would be serviced with well water and septic infrastructure, since both water and sanitary sewer mains for the city are over 2 miles from the site. County approval of well and septic infrastructure on the site will be required. Petitioner has stated that the site would be staffed by no more than 10 employees at any time, that vehicular traffic to and from the site would be minimal. Staff report packet contains images of a comparable facility that was recently built in Sandwich, Illinois. Fire and gas protection systems would be put in place at the facility to alert on-site personnel of a fire or natural gas leak. These systems are designed to address hazardous conditions by automatically stopping the compressor units before dangerous incidents occur. the facility would be required to meet standards for its equipment from the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases and smog-forming volatile organic compounds, VOCs. Noise levels from the facility would not be allowed to exceed a day-night average level of 55 decibels pursuant to interstate system regulation standards. Noise at this level is comparable to normal conversation or moderate rainfall. Subject property is surrounded by farmland on all sides. The facility, as proposed, would be located approximately 0.6 miles west of an existing residential neighborhood in the village of Manhattan. Another neighborhood in unincorporated Jackson Township is approximately 0.5 miles southwest of the proposed site. I-1 light industrial zoning districts can be found further north and to the southwest of the site. It is unlikely that the property surrounding the subject location will develop with single-family residential housing as was originally planned when these properties were annexed into the city of Joliet in 2006. Closest residential subdivision within the city of Joliet is located over 2.5 miles to the west of the subject location. Lot 2 on the attached preliminary plat would host the proposed gas compressor facility. Lot 2 would be a 20-acre portion on the existing 79-acre parent parcel. The plat shows one point of access to and from Lot 2. City staff review of the overall site plan, landscaping plan, and building design will be required prior to issuance of any building permits. Petitioner is working with city staff to produce concept for building exteriors that will result in a more rural and less industrial aesthetic. Petitioner will be required to submit final and recording plats for the proposed subdivision. At the time of final platting, the city will require an escrow for half-road public improvements for South Cherry Hill Road, located east of the site, and Breen Road, a future extension of which would be located south of the subject property. Water main extension costs within these half-road improvements will be included in the proposed escrow amounts, and that concludes our staff report.
Thank you, Jim. Do we have the petitioner on here?
Do.
Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you. State your name.
Andrew Black, TC Energy.
So, you guys are gonna make what?
So this is part of a larger project. We're referring to as the A&R Heartland project. We're building the compressor site located here in Will County. We're also building another one in Bureau County and one further up in Wisconsin. We're also developing a 36-inch pipeline that's going to be running through Kendall County in addition to a 42-inch pipeline that's going to be running through Kendall County. Actually coming from our sandwich compressor facility, kind of running to the Dews southeast associated. So this gas compressor facility is going to be taking gas out of the Northern Borders pipeline, which crosses that corner, and then it's going to be putting it into the A&R pipeline system. So it allows us to go ahead and transport from one system to another, accelerate the gas pushing it along. So during times of peak demand, we're able to go ahead and flow more gas through our pipelines.
Are you guys gonna build containers for natural gas then?
We're not going to be building containers. We're going to be building, it's actually 2 compressors are going to be on site, total about 5,500 horsepower, natural gas fired compressors. They're going to be in the large building in the middle. So, and then we'll just have associated, buildings around the exterior.
So then they would hold gas inside that compressor, right?
Yep, so we're not holding anything. So what it does is, it brings the gas in, equalizes the pressure, and uses it to go ahead and push it out into those systems. So when you think of a gas compressor, think of it, as a pump associated with a water hose. By utilizing that compressor, we're able to push that gas and continue it along the system. And we have to have these spaced out through our pipeline system to go ahead and make sure that that gas is flowing at equal pressures and equal volumes as it's being transported across.
Now you'll have some kind of a perimeter around, real close to it, so somebody can't, like
Yep.
in Texas where the guy drove into that one line and
Down in
and the
Texas,
fire,
yeah.
they still have it going on, whatever.
No, that is something we will obviously be working with the Planning Commission on in regards to the aesthetics associated with the fencing. Traditionally, we use 6-foot chain link with barbed wire across the top. I understand, barbed wire probably will not be allowed, but we will work with the city to go ahead and do associated fencing, whatever is necessary to go ahead and keep the site secure.
I was thinking more like steel poles around the compressor. They can't hit that.
You know, we will have, you know, some bollards located in certain places, you know, but we can't put them the entire way around the facility.
Any other questions? from anyone?
Yeah, I have several. Excuse me, sir. I was going to ask you, where does the pipeline start, like in what state?
Depends on what portion you're talking about. You know, the Heartland or the Northern Border System and the A&R system, you know, cross all through the United States. So it's pulling gas, you know, from Oklahoma, Texas, you know, and everywhere, and kind of combining it on in. So pegging a start point is kind of hard because it has multiple entry points. So a lot of the gas will be coming from Texas coming on up, but a lot of the gas comes from Oklahoma and coming on over. So in addition to, you know, some of it is actually even coming out of the Marcellus and Pennsylvania.
Okay, on the agenda, it said that it's part of the Michigan and Wisconsin pipeline. Are you affiliated with them too? Or-
Well, WRP, you know, is another project farther to the north. That's a Wisconsin reliability project. So it's our sister project, which is a TC Energy project, you know, also operated by A&R. So this is in combination with that. So we're going to be taking this gas here, you know, and primarily sending it north.
Okay. Another question I have is, there's only going to be like 10 employees there. Is that going to be like 3 shifts?
Actually, they're going to be far less. 10 is at maximum at any point in time, you know, and that's usually during maintenance operations. For the most part, this is going to be an unmanned facility. So we're estimating, you know, no more than 10 man hours a week, you know, associated with the facility, unless they're performing maintenance or performing, you know, construction duties on the actual site itself.
Okay. How do you monitor the activity on the site? By employees only, or?
Well, we'll have security features associated with the site. The site will be remotely monitored, you know, from our Texas facility from Houston. In addition to, most of the personnel are going to be based out of the Sandwich Compressor facility over in
So
Kendall
it's all
County.
kind of computer controlled then?
It is all going to be computer controlled primarily, yes.
Okay, all right. Another question I have is, the facility over here that's going to be in, the facility that's going to be in Cherry Hill, is this the same project that's going to be in Sandwich? Is it the same layout, is what I'm trying to say? Do you have the same layout?
Primarily, there are going to be slight differences associated with, you know, where everything is going to be, but the approximate, you know, buildings are going to be about the same.
The one in
Okay.
Sandwich has been there for a really long time, though.
Sandwich has been there for a really long time.
Yeah.
Sandwich is actually getting retooled as part of this. Sandwich is going to have actually a 19,000 horsepower compressor installed at it.
I used to live right there and pass it all the time.
Okay, and the property over here on Cherry Hill Road, it's all going to be fenced in with it's set on there with a sliding gate? Is that
Well-
to keep the intruders out?
Well, yeah, we're going to go ahead and secure the facility to make sure that nobody, you know, other than unauthorized personnel can enter and exit the facility. So the 20 acres is going to be the primary size of the facility, but not all 20 acres will be fenced in. So that fence will be brought in a little bit to account for both the expansion of Cherry Hill and,
Okay.
you know, to kind of keep it a little bit smaller.
Another question I have for you. How many pipelines are underground now at this site here? Do you have any idea?
Well, right now you have 2 A&R actually you have 3 A&R pipelines. You have 1 pipeline operated by Northern Borders, which is also an A&R company. You have an Enbridge line, and then I think you have, I can't remember the name of the 6th one that's running through there, but there are approximately
So
6 running through the.
there's several pipelines already
there are.
there, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So
All
which
right.
is why we chose this location.
Okay. Let's see if I have another one here. Oh, yeah, the facility over there and in Sandwich, it'll be laid out the same as it was, or pretty close to the same as was
Pretty close to
over
the way
here,
this
huh?
one's going to be, yes.
Okay. And the nearest farm is on Baker Road?
The nearest house, or
No, well, the nearest, I think,
well, the nearest farm is right next door. So because
well, no, that's going to the north.
okay, you're talking about actual farm buildings.
Yeah, farm.
Okay,
Yeah. But the actual 20 acres, if I'm not mistaken, I rode down there and it's there's one stake with like a red ribbon on it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that gonna be just the 20 acres that you're gonna be involved in?
Well, we haven't staked the borders of the facility yet. You know, at this point in time, we've identified corners. So I think there was an old corner, which is a large white, fence post style that was down there with a metal pin in front of it. But that will be the approximate location.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's about all I have. Oh, yeah, it said something about there was 79 acres at one time?
Well, the original lot is a 79-acre lot, and we'll be dividing that, obviously, off the 20 acres. So we'll be developing the 20 acres. And
So you're
purchasing-
just gonna use 20 acres?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it, for the compressor?
For the actual facility itself. We'll be
Okay.
subdividing out and purchasing that 20 acres from the landowner.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's about all I have for you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, it's more for Jim. I know there's no sewer and water there. Is it in the agreement if they come, if sewer and water gets there, will they have to, and then they'll have to connect, correct?
Yes.
And then my question is what kind of road improvements, are you gonna make them do road improvements, or you hold like a letter of credit for that?
They're gonna put up money in an escrow account, I believe, for future
Future road
improvements when adjacent roadway improvements would go in.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're contracted right now with Rowena Engineering to go ahead and do the estimates both on South Cherry Hill and the expansion of Breen. Part of that estimate that we're going to be providing is also the incorporation of a sewer and a water line on South Cherry Hill Road. And the estimate also accounts for the future expansion of Cherry Hill to the 80 feet, versus the current 66 foot.
Thank you.
Yep.
I have one more question. You say that you're gonna use just well and septic
Correct.
for right now?
Yes.
But then later on, you might have to tie in, or?
Well, if the city eventually expands your system
Oh,
to go ahead and
gotcha.
go to that point, it is a requirement
Okay.
for us to go ahead and hook into the system versus utilizing the well and septic, then that will be something that will be accounted for at that time.
Okay, good. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Will all the buildings on site be pre-engineered metal buildings?
Most of them are going to be prefab. Nothing's going to really be stick-built, so everything will primarily be either coming in on skids or, in a prefabricated legal fashion.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone? Is there any citizen wish to speak for or against this project? You wish to speak?
You could come up.
Come up to the mic, sir. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
State your name, please.
Dave Scory. I live on Cherry Hill Road. I'm just off the map to the north. And not against the project at all, but I just want to know if at some point, you're talking about very big electric compressor motors, and I know they whine. So I'm just wondering that if it's, at some point, their report says no greater than 55 decibel, I think is what it said. But at some point, if it is louder than that, I'm just wondering if we can get just acknowledgement that, hey, we'll put up some trees or something, either on your property or my property, just to kind of buffer that sound. That's all I was curious about.
Okay.
Thank you.
Part of the process associated with FERC is we do constant sound monitoring. We've already done sound monitoring at the site currently, but once the compressor is established, we will continue those sound monitoring operations. These are gas-fired compressors, so they're not electric compressors. The buildings themselves, house a lot of mufflers associated with the actual sound deadening. It really is one of those where it's lighter than solid conversation, and they are not going to be running 24/7. These will be running maybe right now 4 months out of the year total, and that's only primarily during peak times. So since it is an unmanned facility, and these compressors are going to be utilized only for peak duration to go ahead and pump higher volumes of gas when those demands are necessary, primarily from the months of October through March. That will be the time they'll be running. But once the compressors are site, part of the process is to go ahead and turn them on, crank them up to full volume, and then we go ahead and do another sound monitoring. If that sound monitoring comes back in excess of 55 decibels from the nearest residence, then we go ahead and continue to go ahead and do muffler operations to either deaden the sound or add additional insulation into the buildings themselves to ensure that it is down below those peak volumes.
Okay.
And if they're ever, like I said, I'm somewhat familiar
Mhm.
with the sandwich one. So if there were ever any, I'm assuming monitors that picked up leak or anything like that, you have contractors or you do self-maintenance? How
We
does that work?
self-maintenance, yeah.
Yeah.
So the guys that are operating this one are gonna actually are based out of the sandwich facility.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, anyone else?
I have one more
Go ahead.
question. Mr. Scory, has Mr. Black answered all your questions? Just out of curiosity?
I'm sorry, it's hard to say because it's not there. We're talking about something in the future. I really, if he just gives me some acknowledgement that, hey, if it gets too loud, we can talk. That's all I care about.
If there are complaints in regards to the noise, associated with compressors, we will get back out. We will do those additional monitorings to ensure that those levels, are down below, what is considered acceptable.
Anyone else? Can you get a motion for P-5-24?
I'll make a motion to approve the project.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kella?
Aye.
Mr. Orlando?
Aye.
Ms. Radakovich?
Aye.
Ms. Rohr?
Aye.
Mr. Cox?
Aye.
Mr. Crumpton?
Aye.
Chairman Dillon?
Aye.
And that will go to City Council for approval with a recommendation by the Plan Commission.
When is that, Jim?
October 15th,
October
if it
15th,
stays
okay.
on schedule. Next, we have new business, none under there, new or old business not for final action or recommendation. We have none. Public comment. Anybody that wanted to speak on a non-agenda item can do so, but I think we have none for that. And next would be adjournment.
Can I get a motion for adjournment? Move to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.